In the spring of 1962, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration's Manned Spacecraft Center completed its move to Houston, Texas from Langley Air Force Base, Virginia, and operations were set up in 13 temporary locations in southeast Houston. Meanwhile, on the west side of Clear Lake, a 1,600-acre site for construction of permanent quarters had been selected. The site is located some 22 miles southeast of downtown Houston. About $120 million have been budgeted to convert the Clear Lake site from pasture lands into a complex of research, development, management, and support facilities for manned spaceflight. The first construction bid opening was held March 15, 1962, and the first contract was awarded on March 29, 1962 to Morrison Knudsen Construction Company of Boise, Idaho. Termed Phase 1, work began April 2, 1962, and was completed by December. Included were preparation of the site and construction of roads, water, sewage, and drainage systems, and a utilidor. Construction of the utilidor, which houses electrical lines, heating and cooling systems, and communications lines, was a large portion of the contract. It is an underground concrete tunnel over 1 mile long. Construction of the first buildings, including the Central Data Office, the fire station, water and sewage treatment plants, the central heating and cooling plant, and miscellaneous utilities, began September 17th, after the second contract was awarded to W.S. Bellows and Peter Kiewit Sons construction companies. Termed Phase 2, this contract is scheduled for completion September 6, 1963. While construction was in progress in Phases 1 and 2, a Phase 3 contract was awarded to Level, Morrison, Knudsen, Hardeman on December 3, 1962. It was signed by Dr. Robert R. Gilruth, director of the Manned Spacecraft Center, and Colonel F.P. Koish, Corps of Engineers. Shortly after the signing, work began. In Phase 3, to be completed February 26, 1964, 13 buildings will be constructed. These will include project management facilities, for which underground work was being conducted here, plus facilities for spacecraft engineering, evaluation and development, flight operations, and life systems development. Meanwhile, separate contracts had been awarded to Etz Hoken Galvin Incorporated for construction of the main electrical substation, and to Bellows Kiewit Sons for construction of foundations and erection of structural steel for the Integrated Mission Control Center. Both of these contracts were scheduled for completion early in May. The two most recent contracts let were for completion work on the Integrated Mission Control Center and for construction of chambers for the Environmental Test Laboratory. These were awarded to Etz Hoken Galvin Incorporated and Chicago Bridge and Iron Company. In effect, an entire city is being built, and NASA has erected a temporary facility on the site to function as a construction project office from where progress is directed and monitored. By the end of March 1963, over 5 miles of roads have been completed except for final surfacing. Also completed were curbs, gutters, drainage inlets, bridges, and open drainage ditches. Additionally, a canal has been rechanneled. A new vein is now being extended from the utilidor to the Integrated Mission Control Center. The main artery and veins to other buildings are already complete. The utilidor is an example of the underground work which must be performed in getting ready for surface construction. For the Project Management Office building, which will be 9 stories high, nearly all structural steel has been erected. Precast exposed aggregate finish concrete, or PEEF panels, are being installed, and concrete slab work has been initiated. For the Flight Operations building, underground work such as the drilling of footings and the pouring of foundations has been finished, and nearly all structural steel has been erected. The first of the 2 contracts for construction of the Integrated Mission Control Center was completed on schedule early in May. The first contract included drilling footings, pouring foundations, and erecting steel for the administration and operations wings and the emergency power building. The second contract for completion of the building has been let and work has already begun. Structural steel has been erected for the nearby Central Data Office building, and the roof is finished. PEEF panels have been installed, and fireproofing is complete. The first and second floor slabs are finished, and window installations, electrical and mechanical installations, and plastering are well underway. For the Systems Evaluation Office and Laboratory, underground foundation work is complete, and the erection of structural steel has been initiated. For the Spacecraft Research Office and Laboratory, underground work such as the drilling of footings and pouring of foundations is nearing completion. Similarly, underground work is nearing the final stages for the Life Systems Laboratory. For the support shops and warehouse, structural steel has been erected and PEEF panels are being installed. Furthermore, construction is well underway for the support office and the vehicle service garage. Drill footings are in, foundations are poured, and structural steel is being erected. For the Technical Services Office, structural steel is up and PEEF panels are being installed. Underground work for the Technical Services shop is substantially complete. The fire station, the first building to be finished, is complete except for minor work and installation of final utilities. This installation will follow in a subsequent contract. Also finished is the main electrical substation. All heavy electrical equipment has been delivered and set up, and interconnections are complete. The equipment includes two 25 to 42 million volt ampere transformers, oil circuit breakers, switch gears, and towers for electrical lines. The control building is complete, and the substation, finished in early May, has been energized by the Houston Lighting and Power Company. With the exception of the final electrical hookups, the water treatment plant is completed. A 1 million-gallon ground storage water tank has been erected, and pumping facilities have been installed. In addition, a 250,000-gallon elevated water storage tower has been erected, and it is complete. Work is proceeding for the sewage treatment plant, which is now 75% finished. Walls for the control building are up, and the roof is on. Construction of other parts of the system, such as the wet well, aerobic digesters, and final clarifiers, is well underway. Structural steel has been erected for the central heating and cooling plant, and underground mechanical and electrical work is being conducted. In addition, the second floor slab has been poured, and pads have been set up to receive heavy equipment such as turbines, chillers, and compressors. Much of the heavy equipment is already being installed. For the cafeteria, underground work is complete, and erection of structural steel is about to be initiated. For the auditorium, underground work has been completed, and most of the structural steel has been erected. The Southwestern Bell Telephone Company is putting up a building for termination of lines connecting the worldwide tracking network. The lines will be channeled into the Integrated Mission Control Center. For other construction, such as parking lots, utility distributions, driveways, and so on, work is progressing well. To cover briefly a few important buildings and their functions, the 9-story Project Management Building will provide space for executive and project engineering offices, financial management, procurement, personnel, and so on. The Integrated Mission Control Center will house the operational facilities designed for the direction of the manned Gemini and Apollo flights. The Central Data Building will house the Data Computation Division, the Technical Information Office, and the Technical Library. In the Systems Evaluation Laboratory, experimental investigations will be conducted on advanced materials, spacecraft structural components, and structural assemblies. The Life Systems Laboratory will house offices and facilities for developing flight crew equipment and coordinating flight crew operations. Generally, when construction of the Manned Spacecraft Center is complete, there will be a community of highly functional buildings for planning, directing, and evaluating manned spaceflight. To date, 7 major construction contracts have been awarded, and 3 of these have been completed. All work is on schedule.